Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we have a mission, and it is a really, honestly, an incredibly fascinating one.
Oh, absolutely.
We are going to unpack this highly detailed, wonderfully esoteric blueprint, and it's designed for one very specific date in the near future, which is March 3, 2026.
Right.
Right now, on the table in front of us, we have this extensive, almost encyclopedic technical document. It's titled The Crystalline Architecture of the 2026 Trinity Gate.
And it is thick.
It's completely packed with these sacred geometry diagrams.
Yeah.
And it features this really striking logo from a creator who goes by Crystals by Rob.
Yeah, I love that logo.
Right. The logo itself is a yin-yang symbol, but instead of the traditional black and white dots, it contains these intricate, multifaceted geometric crystals inside each half.
Which really sets the tone for the level of detail we're looking at today.
Exactly, because I want to tell you right out of the gate, whether you are a deeply spiritual practitioner who works with energy on a daily basis, or you're just a naturally curious skeptic who appreciates beautifully complex overlapping systems, you are going to find this fascinating.
It truly is a remarkable piece of work, because when you read through Rob's material, you quickly realize you are not just looking at some breezy guide on how to arrange pretty rocks on your coffee table.
No, definitely not.
What we're about to explore is essentially an instruction manual for building an energetic circuit board to manifest very specific goals.
The circuit board.
Yeah, it treats these metaphysical concepts with the exacting precision of electrical engineering. And our goal for this deep dive is to guide you through exactly how this system functions. We're breaking it down into the three distinct phases outlined in the blueprint, which are the trigger, the medium, and the architecture.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the trigger, the date itself, March 3, 2026, or as the blueprint refers to it, the 3 portal. Out of all the days in the decade, why is this specific Tuesday the focal point for this massive construction?
Well, it all comes down to numerology.
Right.
The author builds a very compelling, mathematically layered case for this exact timing. So let's look at the year first, right? 2026. In numerological practice, you add the digits together. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10.
Okay.
And then you reduce that further. 1 plus 0 equals 1. This means 2026 is a universal year 1.
Wait, let me jump in right there. A universal year 1 happens every 9 years, right? We had one back in 2017. We'll have another in 2035. What makes this specific one in 2026 require such an intense, laser-focused grid compared to any other year 1?
That is a great question, because to understand the weight of 2026, you really have to look at the immediate context. 2025 was a universal year 9, and in this system, a year 9 is a period of intense karmic closures, burning away the deadwood, and releasing outdated paradigms. It's the absolute end of a cycle.
The end of the line?
Exactly. Therefore, 2026 isn't just a new year. It is a profound blank page following a massive clearing. It's a time entirely centered on leadership, initiation, and independent action. It sets the foundational concrete for a brand new 9-year cycle.
Oh, wow.
But what makes March 3rd specifically the trigger point is how that date interacts with the year 1 energy.
Right, because March is the 3rd month and it's the 3rd day.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is the doubling of the number 3. In numerology, 3 signifies creativity, massive expansion, and communication. But doubled, it creates the master number 33.
The master teacher.
The master teacher archetype, exactly, which operates at a frequency of profound spiritual weight. Wright pulls some incredible historical references to show how universal this archetype actually is.
He really went deep into the history here.
He did. For instance, you see the concept of 33 deities in Hinduism, known as the Trayastrimsa. In Christianity, 33 is widely accepted as the age of the crucifixion and resurrection.
Right.
Islamic prayer utilizes 3 sets of 33 beads. Even in esoteric traditions like conventional Scottish Rite Freemasonry uses exactly 33 degrees to represent the highest stages of enlightenment and architectural mastery.
That's wild.
The argument here is that this number consistently acts as a historical bridge to higher realms.
Now, the manual takes those numbers and reduces them even further to show the ultimate goal of the portal. But I've got to admit, I got a little lost in the math here. How does this full date end up connecting to themes of inner truth and domestic life?
It's a multi-step reduction, but it's crucial to the grid's purpose. If you take that master number 33 and add the digits, 3 plus 3, you get 6.
Okay.
In this numerological framework, 6 is deeply linked to themes of responsibility, family, and domestic stability.
Got it.
Then, if you take the full date, March 3, 2026. Or 3 plus the year's value of 1. That reduces to 7.
Ah, okay.
And 7 represents introspection, intense study, and inner truth.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when you put all of that together, that offers a really powerful message for you as the listener.
Yeah.
This isn't just about dreaming big or getting lost in the massive creative expansion of the number 3.
No.
The math of the date actually demands that you filter all that wild year 1 creativity through deep internal wisdom, the 7, and most importantly, you have to ground it in real, responsible, stable life, which is the 6.
Precisely. It is about practical beginnings, not just daydreaming. The energy is huge, but it has to be anchored. And that absolute necessity for grounding and stability leads us directly into the second phase, the architecture.
Right.
To handle this highly potent 333 energy without burning out the energetic circuits, so to speak, the blueprint prescribes a very specific physical shape for the crystal grid.
Right. And when we look at the physical geometry of the grid from the diagrams provided in the source material, it's really striking. It's this bold black and white outline of a rhombus.
Yes.
They aren't using a circle, which you might logically expect for themes of unity, or a square for a solid foundation. They specifically demand a diamond shape. Why not a circle?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at how this specific shape manages chaotic energy. In sacred geometry, a rhombus is viewed as 2 distinct triangles joined at their base.
Okay.
This configuration reflects the ancient Hermetic principle of as above, so below. The top triangle pointing up represents the downward flow of cosmic spiritual energy, while the bottom triangle pointing down represents the upward elevation of human material intentions.
And they meet in the middle.
They meet and synthesize perfectly in the middle.
Okay, I can visualize that. But functionally, what does the diamond do that a circle doesn't?
Think of it like a light bulb versus a laser pointer. If you were to use a spherical or circular grid, the energy would radiate omnidirectionally, everywhere all at once, illuminating the whole room but diffusing the power. The diamond, however, acts as a laser.
It focuses it.
Yes, it provides severe structural stability for that high-frequency 333 energy, pointing it directly and forcefully toward its apexes. It prevents the energy from becoming ungrounded or scattered.
Which ties right back to the year 1 thing.
Again, it perfectly mirrors that year 1 theme we talked about. It forces all that wild potential into a highly focused, stable structure so it can actually accomplish something tangible in the physical world.
So what does this all mean for the actual physical objects you need to build this thing? That brings us to the third phase, the medium. This is what we might call the hardware of the grid.
Right.
And let me tell you, Rob's blueprint is incredibly strict about the stones you are allowed to use. You only need 3 distinct minerals: clear quartz, amethyst, and citrine.
No substitutions.
Exactly. No substituting, no throwing in your favorite piece of rose quartz because you like the color. It is a highly specific recipe.
It is, and it lays out a strict hierarchy for these minerals based on their chemical compositions and their internal crystalline lattices. It really is built like a machine.
How so?
Well, at the exact center of the diamond, you have the focus stone. This must be a clear quartz tower or point. Now, clear quartz is a silicon dioxide mineral, and it possesses genuine piezoelectric properties.
Piezoelectric. Break that down for us.
Sure. It means the crystal literally generates an electric charge under mechanical stress.
Really?
Yeah, think of it like the clicker in a standard barbecue lighter. When you pull the trigger, a tiny hammer strikes a piece of quartz inside, and that mechanical stress creates the electrical spark that lights the gas.
I had no idea that was quartz in there.
It is. It's a real, measurable, physical phenomenon. In this grid, the clear quartz acts as the engine, or a natural tuning fork. Its esoteric job is to gather the universal life force, organize scattered electromagnetic energy into a coherent wave, and broadcast your primary intention out into the rest of the grid.
It's the central processor. I love that barbecue lighter analogy. That makes so much sense. And then surrounding that central quartz, sitting halfway to the outer edge of the diamond, you have the waystones.
The amethysts.
Right, these are amethysts. The material explains that amethyst is actually just a variety of quartz, but it contains irradiated iron inclusions, which give it that famous purple color.
Exactly. If the clear quartz is the engine gathering the raw power, the amethysts are the refiners. They resonate heavily with the third eye and crown chakras.
Under the higher energy centers.
Right. Their specific job in the circuit board is to act as a filter. They screen out lower vibrational, ego-driven motives, things like greed or vanity. They take that intense, raw voltage from the center and translate it into actionable spiritual insights and intuitive clarity.
Which brings us to the final layer of the hardware, the anchor stones at the outer perimeter. These are placed at the far north, south, east, and west points of the diamond.
The 4 points.
Yes. And for these, you were required to use citrine. Citrine is linked to the solar plexus chakra and the element of fire. It's called the manifestor's stone.
Very powerful stuff.
But I have a slightly challenging question here. If citrine is absolutely required, how does Rob's blueprint deal with the fact that most commercial citrine you buy at a rock shop is actually just heat-treated amethyst? Does baking an amethyst in an oven ruin the grid?
Oh, that is a very common debate in mineralogy and crystal work. The blueprint actually addresses this subtly.
Oh, it does.
It does. While naturally occurring earth-heated citrine is always the gold standard because of its raw geological purity, high-quality heat-treated amethyst still functions within this specific grid.
Why is that?
Because the structural lattice is still quartz, and the introduction of intense heat, the element of fire, still aligns the stone's resonance with the solar plexus chakra.
Oh, that makes sense.
Whether heated by the Earth's mantle or a jeweler's kiln, it still acts as the catcher. If the clear quartz gathers the light, and the amethyst refines the light, the citrine is the grounding force that turns that spiritual expansion into tangible material results.
Things like prosperity and career growth.
Exactly. Prosperity, confidence, career growth. Citrine inspires the courage and follow-through required to turn a lofty idea into concrete reality.
But, and the manual makes a massive point of this, you can't just take these rocks out of a shipping box, throw them on a table in a diamond shape, and expect a total life transformation.
Definitely not.
There's a deeply rigorous preparation and programming protocol. Think of it like energetic hygiene. The stones can absorb all sorts of frequencies from the mining process, the transportation, and whoever handled them before you.
It's energetic noise.
Right. To clear this noise, you are given a comprehensive list of cleansing methods.
Yes, the cleansing is non-negotiable before construction.
You can use smoke cleansing with sage or cedar. You can use sound vibration, specifically mentioning a 528 Hz tuning fork, which is fascinating because that frequency is often associated with DNA repair in alternative therapy.
It's a very specific resonance.
You can leave them in moonlight, or you can use earth burial, which they highly recommend for the citrine to enhance its grounding role. But there's a very explicit warning. Be incredibly cautious with water cleansing.
Oh, yes.
Because let me tell you, there is nothing quite like accidentally dissolving a fragile $50 raw mineral cluster in your kitchen sink.
Absolutely. It is a heartbreaking lesson to learn.
It really is.
While quartz and amethyst are generally safe in water, some raw, untreated clusters can degrade, and the iron content can rust.
So no water for the raw stuff.
Better safe than sorry. That physical care is just the first step. Once the stones are physically and energetically clean, you enter the programming phase.
The 33 by 3.
Yes. This is where the practitioner attunes the stones to a specific, deeply personal outcome. The instructions dictate holding each stone in your dominant hand and mentally projecting your intention into its lattice. And for this specific 2026 portal, the guide strongly recommends what it calls the 33 by 3 manifestation method.
Starting on the night of the 3-3 portal, the practitioner must write down their specific intention exactly 33 times for 3 consecutive days.
It's intense.
Even if you completely remove the crystals from the equation for a second, think about the psychological power of that kind of deliberate, repetitive intention setting. Writing down exactly what you want to achieve 33 times a day for 3 days, you are essentially carving new neural pathways.
You really are.
You're forcing your brain to focus entirely on a singular goal, shutting out all other noise.
It creates a massive psychological anchor. And the culmination of that process is taking that piece of paper with your written intention and placing it directly beneath the central clear quartz tower as the literal foundation of the grid.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The actual physical build and activation of the grid. Phase 4, construction.
This is the fun part.
You've got your intention under the central quartz. Next, you build the inner ring with the 4 amethysts. And there is a brilliant tactical detail here. If your goal is inward personal growth, say, finding peace or healing trauma, you point the terminations, the pointy ends of the amethysts, inward toward the quartz.
Right.
But if your goal is outward networking, career expansion, or creative influence, you point them outward to broadcast the energy into the room.
It's highly customizable to the user's needs. Finally, You place the 4 citrines at the furthest apexes to create that perfectly balanced rhombus, ensuring they are equidistant from the center. And then comes the activation, the moment you essentially plug in the circuit board.
Turn the power on.
Yes. The text details a specific triple trace tracing ritual.
Do you use a specific tool for that, or just your hands?
You can use an activator wand, like a small, slender quartz point, or simply the index finger of your dominant hand. You start by touching the center quartz. Then you trace an invisible line of light up to the north citrine.
Okay.
From there, you trace across to the adjacent amethyst waystone and then back to the center quartz. That creates one triangular slice of the diamond. You repeat this tracing for all 4 quadrants.
And you do that 3 times.
Because this is the 3 portal, the blueprint insists this entire pattern must be traced a total of 3 times. Once that is complete, you circle the entire outer perimeter of the diamond 3 times in a clockwise direction to seal the energy field, and you end with a verbal affirmation, stating your intention aloud to the room.
It is such an incredibly active, involved process. You aren't just a passive observer.
No, you are the engineer.
And this grid doesn't exist in a vacuum. The blueprint also looks very closely at the specific astrological weather happening around March 2026 to explain why this specific grid is so urgently necessary.
This is a crucial part of the document.
First, the portal occurs during Pisces season. Pisces is mutable water. It brings a heavy, beautiful influence of intuition and empathy, but it can also be very dreamy and easily scattered.
Right, which goes back to needing that anchor.
Exactly. It also notes the influence of a fixed star called Aldebaran, known as the Watcher of the East, which is historically associated with immense success, but only if that success is built on absolute integrity.
That integrity piece is vital. But the most crucial astrological factor mentioned is a planetary alignment called the Venus-Uranus square.
The square?
Yes. In astrology, a square is an aspect of tension. This transit specifically threatens sudden disruptive shifts, shocks to your personal values, your relationships, or your finances.
Think of it like that sudden, out-of-nowhere Friday afternoon email from your boss that completely upends your entire weekend and spikes your blood pressure.
Perfect analogy.
That chaotic, shocking energy is exactly what this grid is trying to block.
That is exactly why the text insists on the rigid, highly stable geometry of the diamond grid. A softer, circular grid might succumb to that chaotic Venus-Uranus energy, but the rhombus acts almost like an energetic shock absorber, protecting your manifestation from those sudden astrological disruptions.
It's an energetic shield.
Exactly. The guide also brings in Feng Shui principles to maximize the grid's effectiveness, advising that it be placed in the southeast corner of a room, which governs wealth and abundance, or the east corner, which governs family and new beginnings.
So you've built it, you've activated it with the tracing ritual, you've placed it perfectly in your wealth corner, but you can't just walk away and forget about it.
No, you can't.
The manual outlines very specific maintenance protocols to keep the energy from going stagnant over the coming months. It requires your ongoing active participation. It recommends a 5 to 10 minute daily practice they call the 33 by 3 meditation, where you visualize a pillar of light moving through the stone.
And the breath of life.
Yes, the breath of life visualization. You take 3 deep breaths, visualizing yourself inhaling the pure crystalline clarity of the central quartz and exhaling any scarcity mindset, fear, or doubt directly into the citrine, so the citrine can catch it and transmute it into positive action.
It creates a continuous feedback loop between you and the grid.
It does.
So, to summarize the mechanics of this incredible document, the success of this 2026 Trinity Gate relies entirely on the precise intersection of 3 distinct vectors.
The 3 vectors.
You need the trigger, which is the numerological power of the 33 and the universal year 1. You need the medium, which relies on the specific piezoelectric and energetic properties of clear quartz, amethyst, and citrine working in tandem.
Right.
And you need the architecture, the stable, laser-like geometry of the rhombus acting as a shock absorber. If any one of those 3 is missing, the circuit doesn't fire.
And that level of precision extends all the way to the very end of the process, doesn't it?
It does. The text provides critical instructions for how to responsibly deconstruct the grid once your intention has manifested, or when the next major astrological shift arrives.
You don't just put them in a box.
You don't just sweep the stones into a canvas bag and throw them in a drawer. You must express gratitude, immediately cleanse the stones again to clear the programming, and then perform one vital final step.
the physical action.
Because 2026 is a universal year one, a year of action. Taking down the grid must be paired with a physical action in the real world.
That's fascinating.
If your intention was financial abundance, the very hour you deconstruct the grid, you go open a new savings account or invest in a course. If it was creative success, you sit down and draft the first chapter of your book, or you make a collaborative phone call. The metaphysical work must absolutely meet physical reality.
It demands action.
It does, which raises an important question, and it introduces a concept I want you to really consider as we wrap up this deep dive.
Let's hear it.
We've talked about the psychology and the astrology of this grid, but let's look at it through the lens of quantum physics, specifically the observer effect.
Oh, I love this concept.
In quantum mechanics, the famous double-slit experiment demonstrates that the mere act of observing or measuring a particle literally changes its behavior. The observer's attention alters reality at a microscopic level.
Right.
If we apply that concept here, think about the astonishing level of layered, intense focus this grid requires. You are curating your physical environment, aligning with cosmic timing, performing daily breathwork rituals, and tracing geometric patterns.
It's intense focus.
Regardless of whether you believe in crystal resonance or numerology at all, if the observer effect holds true, wouldn't the sheer concentrated architecture of paying this much microscopic attention to a single intention in the corner of your room almost guarantee that you alter the fabric of your own reality?
What an incredible thought. The act of observation alone, structure this tightly, becomes the catalyst for change. It really makes you rethink the raw power of your own daily focus. If you were going to build this circuit board, what intention would you write down 33 times for 3 days straight? What reality would you choose to observe into existence? Keep that question in mind as we conclude our deep dive into the 2026 Trinity Gate. Until next time, keep digging, keep learning, and keep building your own architecture.